Texas property taxes are absolutely destroying families right now. And if you think the recent tax relief fixed the problem, you're dead wrong. In fact, more Texas homes are facing foreclosure today than before the so-called historic $18 billion relief package was passed. We're about to show you 3 things that will shock you. First, there's a hidden fee structure that can double your tax debt overnight, and most homeowners have no idea it exists until it's too late. Second, we're going to reveal which specific Texas counties are protecting families and which ones are essentially legal loan sharks. And this county map could literally save your home. And third, there's a timeline that every Texas homeowner needs to memorize because missing just one deadline can trigger a sequence of events that ends with you losing your house in under 12 months. But here's what's really disturbing about Texas property taxes destroying families. The relief everyone's talking about? It's being completely overwhelmed by a perfect storm of rising appraisals and insurance costs that politicians conveniently forgot to mention. 27% property tax increases since 2019, 55% insurance premium spikes, and a collection system so aggressive that 3 law firms alone extracted $184 million from struggling homeowners last year. Right now, as we're recording this, nearly 10,000 Texas families lost their homes to foreclosure in just the last 3 months. That's more than any other state in America, and it's accelerating. The families losing their homes aren't the ones who overspent or made bad decisions. They're the ones who got caught in a trap that turns a manageable tax bill into an impossible debt spiral. And if you think this only affects other people, let me tell you about the escrow shortage crisis that 55% of Texas homeowners are facing right now. Your mortgage payment could jump by hundreds of dollars next month. And most people don't find out until they get that devastating notice in the mail. But before we get there, you need to understand what's really happening to a homeowner from Odessa who built her dream home with her late husband. After his stroke and death, she couldn't maintain 3 properties on her reduced income. Now, her original tax debt was $23,778. That's a lot of money, but manageable for someone who owns multiple properties, right? Wrong. After penalties and attorney fees were added, that debt became $41,897. The fees nearly doubled what she owed. And this is happening to thousands of families across Texas right now. Let me walk you through exactly how this nightmare unfolds, because understanding this timeline could save your home. You missed the January 31st deadline for whatever reason. Maybe you're dealing with a death in the family. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe you just forgot. February 1st hits and boom, a 6% penalty kicks in immediately. Not at the end of the month, not after a grace period, immediately. Every month after that, 1% interest compounds. By June, you're looking at 15% in penalties before attorneys even get involved. Then July rolls around, and this is where it gets really ugly. Private law firms can add 20% attorney fees on top of everything you already owe. Let me show you exactly how this math works, because this is the trap that's catching so many families off guard. You fall behind $5,000 in property taxes. February penalty hits. That's $300. By June, you've got $750 in interest and penalties. July, attorney fee kicks in. That's over $1,000, 20% of your total debt. Your $5,000 problem just became over $7,000, and you haven't even made a payment yet. Now, here's what makes Texas particularly brutal compared to other states, and this is something most homeowners don't realize until it's too late. Property tax liens come first. Unlike mortgage foreclosure, which requires 120 days notice and a lengthy legal process, property tax foreclosure can begin within 1 year of missing a single payment. The county doesn't care if you're current on your mortgage. They don't care if you've lived in that house for 30 years. A completely paid off home can be seized and auctioned if property taxes are delinquent. Let me tell you about a garage door technician who inherited delinquent property from his deceased father. Now, he's raising children with special needs while facing a $28,000 bill with $4,700 just in attorney fees. He's considering selling other property to pay off this debt, and he's worried about his retirement. This is a hard-working guy who did nothing wrong except inherit a problem. And now attorney fees are making it nearly impossible to solve. And those attorney fees aren't going to some faceless corporation. 3 law firms alone extracted $184 million from struggling Texas homeowners in 2023. Linebarger, Goggin, Blair, and Sampson made $128 million. Purdue Brandon made $28 million. McCreary Veselka made $18 million. These are companies that specialize in making money off families who are already struggling to keep their homes. Please take 2 seconds to help me out and hit the like and subscribe if you find this video interesting so far. Each like, subscribe, and share helps support this channel and keeps us motivated to keep making you great content. Thank you. Now, let's continue. Let's talk about why Texas leads the nation in foreclosures, because the numbers are absolutely staggering. In Q3 2025 alone, Texas had 9,736 foreclosure starts. That's the highest in the nation. Florida, which everyone thinks of as the foreclosure capital, had 8,200. California, with twice the population of Texas, had 7,900. In the first half of 2025, Texas foreclosure starts hit 17,680. Florida was at 15,198, and California was at 14,751. But here's the really scary number: completed foreclosures, which means homes actually taken from families. Texas led with 2,207 repossessed homes in just the first half of 2025. In November 2025 alone, 546 Texas families lost their homes to completed foreclosure. That's more than 18 families losing their homes every single day in November. And it's getting worse. Here's the 36% spike that should keep every Texas homeowner awake at night. In October 2024, there were 249 completed foreclosures in Texas. In October 2025, there were 358 completed foreclosures. That's a 36% year-over-year increase in families actually losing their homes. While politicians are bragging about tax relief, more families are losing their homes than ever before. So why is Texas different? It all comes down to the fact that Texas has no state income tax. That sounds great when you're thinking about keeping more of your paycheck, but it means Texas relies heavily on property taxes to fund everything. When home values spike, tax bills follow automatically, even if tax rates stay exactly the same, and boy, have home values spiked. Here's the perfect storm that's hitting Texas families right now. Property taxes are up 27% since 2019. Insurance premiums are up 55.4% from 2019 to 2024. The average insurance cost is now over $4,000 annually, and major cities are seeking 19 to 32% insurance increases year over year. But there's a hidden crisis that most people don't even know about: the escrow shortage epidemic. 55% of Texas escrow accounts are in shortage right now. Compare that to Florida at 40% and California at just 13%. Escrow payments now make up 44% of total monthly mortgage payments in Texas. That's the second highest in the nation. It's like having a second mortgage that keeps going up every year. So when families get those escrow shortage notices, they're not just facing a small adjustment. They're facing hundreds of dollars per month in additional payments. And many simply can't afford it. That's when they start falling behind, and that's when this whole penalty and attorney fee machine kicks into high gear. Now, remember at the beginning when I mentioned that Texas passed that historic $18 billion relief package, but families are still losing their homes faster than ever? Let me explain exactly what's happening with this so-called relief, because this is where politicians are being very misleading. What? Politicians are being misleading? If I had pearls, I'd be clutching them. Whatever. The 2023-24 relief package was real. $18 billion was devoted to relief. School tax rates were compressed by 10.7 cents per $100 of value. The homestead exemption was raised to $100,000 statewide. The average homeowner was projected to save about $1,300 a year, and 5.7 million homeowners were supposed to benefit. The 2025 expansion makes it even better on paper. The homestead exemption is jumping to $140,000 for general homeowners, $200,000 for seniors and disabled pending voter approval. Projected annual savings range from $484 to $950 for many households. They even created Operation Double Nickel, which lowers the senior protection age from 65 to 55. This all sounds incredible, right? Here's the trap that nobody talks about. Even after these historic relief packages, total property tax levies in Texas still increased by $5.4 billion in 2024 alone. The relief is real, but rising home values and appraisals are outpacing those benefits faster than families can adjust. Let me give you a real example from Montgomery County. Home values in the area appreciated only 1.2%, but the appraisal district raised assessments by 9%. The tax relief was completely negated by appraisal increases. So families who were expecting to save money on their tax bills actually saw their bills go up. Here's the most frustrating part of all this. 22% of homeowners missed $2 billion in potential tax savings because they didn't know how to protest their appraisals. $2 billion left on the table because the relief programs are invisible to the struggling families who need them most. The system is designed to extract maximum revenue, not to actually help homeowners. So let me give you the 5 action steps that can actually save you thousands of dollars, starting with the most important one that almost nobody knows about. You can protest your property tax appraisal for free and save $300 to $2,000 a year. Here's exactly how it works. You get your appraisal notice between April and May. Most people just throw this in a drawer and forget about it. Big mistake. You need to compare your appraised value to recent comparable sales in your area. Use Zillow, use county records, find houses similar to yours that sold recently for less than your appraisal. Then you file a protest by the deadline, which is usually May 15th to June 15th, depending on your county. You attend the appraisal review board hearing, which is free and you don't need a lawyer. If you can prove overvaluation, typical savings range from $300 to over $2,000 annually. Next, you need to make sure you're claiming every homestead exemption you qualify for. Here's exactly who qualifies for what in 2026. And this is information that could literally save your home. If you're a homeowner of any age, your current exemption is $100,000. But if the 2026 changes are approved, it goes to $140,000, saving you $300 to $500 annually. If you're a senior 65 or older or disabled, your current exemption is $110,000. But it could go to $200,000, saving you $500 to $950 annually. If you're a veteran with 100% disability, you get full exemption, no taxes at all. If you own rental or business property, you don't get homestead exemptions, but you do get a 20% appraisal cap on properties up to $5 million in value. The third thing you need to do is escape the escrow shortage trap before it destroys your budget. When you get an escrow analysis, don't just accept whatever your lender tells you. Request the analysis details before they force you into a large lump sum payment. You can usually negotiate a monthly payment increase versus having to come up with thousands of dollars all at once. If rates have spiked dramatically, consider refinancing early before appraisals get even worse. Fourth, if you do fall behind on property taxes, you need to act fast to avoid the attorney fee trap. Call your tax office immediately and negotiate a payment plan before attorney fees kick in. This is where knowing your county makes all the difference. And this brings me to that county map I promised you at the beginning. Harris County, the largest county in Texas, moved to in-house delinquent tax collection and saved families $8.8 million in the first year with no loss in collection efficiency. They protect families from those crushing 20% attorney fees, but 252 out of the 254 Texas counties still outsource to law firms, which means most of the state allows that 20% attorney fee that makes it nearly impossible for struggling families to catch up. The fifth action step is knowing the timeline so you can act before it's too late. Miss January 31st, penalties start February 1st. By July, attorney fees are possible. By the next February, you could be facing a foreclosure notice. You have to act within the first 3 to 4 months of delinquency, or you risk losing your home entirely. Now, if you're not in Texas, don't think you're safe from this trend. Property taxes are up 27% from 2019 to 2025 across the entire country. The property tax delinquency rate hit 5.1% in 2025, up from 4.5% in 2024. Serious mortgage delinquencies hit 1% in September 2025. The escrow shortage crisis is spreading beyond Texas. Florida is at 40% of accounts in shortage, and other states are starting to see similar patterns. Many states are watching Texas's relief model and considering similar approaches. The combination of rising property taxes, insurance spikes, and aggressive collection practices is creating a perfect storm that's moving beyond Texas borders. Florida has better tax relief but a worse insurance crisis. California has high taxes but slower foreclosure processes. Your state could be implementing Texas-style collection practices sooner than you think. There's another case that perfectly illustrates how this system traps families. A Texas professional lost her mother in 2024, leaving behind a $31,000 tax bill with $5,200 in attorney fees. Probate delays meant more penalties accrued while the family was stuck in legal limbo, wanting to sell the property to pay taxes but unable to move forward. So what happens next? Governor Abbott is proposing to eliminate school property taxes entirely. This could make things better, or it could create an even bigger crisis depending on what replaces that funding. The bottom line is this: nearly 10,000 Texas families lost their homes in just 90 days. Property tax relief exists, but it's being overwhelmed by appraisal increases and insurance spikes. The families getting crushed aren't the ones who overspent. They're the ones who got trapped by a system designed to extract maximum revenue with minimum protection. Don't let your family become another statistic. Check if you qualify for homestead exemptions you're not claiming. Research your county's delinquent tax collection practices. Set up automatic escrow monitoring to avoid shortage surprises. The information you don't know is what will cost you everything in this market. If this video helped you understand what's really happening with Texas property taxes and foreclosures, subscribe right now and hit that notification bell. We release detailed housing market analysis every week that could save you thousands of dollars whether you're buying, selling, or just trying to keep the home you have. What state are you in, and what's your biggest concern about property taxes and foreclosures? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.